Most people don't realize they're making a huge mistake with their Roth IRA until it's too late. And that mistake, well, it could be the difference between retiring with $300,000 or walking away with $1.1 million. Most people simply open the account, set it up with good intentions, maybe even throw some money in now and then. But years go by, and the growth? Kinda disappointing. The problem isn't the account, it's what's inside it. And that's where ETFs come in. What if the difference between working part-time at 67 and traveling the world stress-free came down to 5 smart investment choices? In this video, I'll show you and John how a Roth IRA works and why it's better than a traditional IRA. I'll walk you through a standard Roth IRA portfolio that can grow to $300,000 with just a $2,000 yearly investment. And in the end, I'll show you a supercharged Roth IRA portfolio made up of the 5 best ETFs. One that can turn the same $2,000 per year into $1 million portfolio, delivering returns that are 3 times better than the average Roth IRA. But before we get to those growth-boosting strategies, let's rewind a bit here. What exactly is a Roth IRA? At its core, a Roth IRA is a special kind of investment account designed to help you save for retirement, but with a twist. You contribute money to it after you've already paid taxes on it. That's right, no tax break up front like you get with a traditional IRA. But here's the kicker, once your money is inside a Roth IRA, it grows completely tax-free. And when you're ready to take it out, whether you've doubled, tripled, or 10 times your money, the IRS doesn't get a cut. Not on your dividends, not on your capital gains, not on anything. It's all yours. Now, if you're thinking, but I don't have a ton of cash to start with, well, don't worry. In this video, I'm using a realistic example, someone investing just $2,000 a year, which is about $38 to $40 a week. You're going to see exactly what happens to that money over time, both in a standard Roth IRA and in a supercharged Roth IRA portfolio that I built specifically to maximize growth. Alright, so you've got a basic idea of what a Roth IRA is, but there's another retirement account that often shows up in the same conversation, the traditional IRA. So what's the difference, and more importantly, which one's better for you? Let's make this super easy to understand. A traditional IRA gives you a tax break now. Whatever you contribute, say $2,000 this year, you can potentially deduct from your taxable income. So if you made $50,000, you'd only pay taxes on $48,000. Sounds great, right? But there's a trade-off. Because later on, when you're retired and ready to take the money out, the IRS comes knocking. You'll pay taxes on every dollar you withdraw, including all the growth and earnings. It's like a tax delay, not a tax escape. Now, the Roth IRA flips that script. With a Roth, you pay taxes on your money now. That same $2,000 contribution doesn't reduce your taxable income at all, but in return, you never pay taxes on it again. Not on the growth, not on the dividends, not on the withdrawals in retirement. Nothing. So here's the real question. Would you rather pay taxes on the seed or on the harvest? If you're younger or just starting out or expect to be earning more money in the future, the Roth IRA is a no-brainer. You pay taxes now while your rate is low and let the account grow in peace. On the other hand, if you're closer to retirement or currently in a very high tax bracket, a traditional IRA might help reduce your tax bill today, but even then, it's worth weighing the long-term implications. For most people in their 20s, 30s, or even 40s, the Roth is the clear winner. It's simpler, it's more flexible, and it sets you up for long-term compounding tax-free success. And remember, we're building a Roth IRA with growth in mind. Paying taxes up front now means more room for your investments to explode later untouched by Uncle Sam. So now that we've got that settled, let's break down exactly how this thing works. And don't worry, I'm going to keep this simple. Here's the first thing to understand. A Roth IRA is just a type of account. It's not an investment itself. Think of it as a container. What you put inside, stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, that's what determines how your money grows. So how do you use it? Each year, you can contribute a certain amount of money into your Roth IRA. For this year, the limit is $7,000 or $8,000 if you're 50 years of age or older. But in this video, we're using a realistic number, $2,000 per year, to show how even modest, consistent investing can lead to life-changing results. Now, once that money is in your Roth IRA, you can invest it however you want, within the boundaries of what your brokerage offers. You could buy a broad market ETF, individual stocks, or a combination of both, and every dollar you invest will grow tax-free. To make tax-free withdrawals on your earnings, you need to meet two simple conditions. Number one, be at least 59 and a half years old. And number two, have had your Roth IRA open for at least 5 years. Now, what if something comes up and you need to take out some cash earlier? Good news, you can always withdraw your contributions, the money you put in, at any time with no penalties or taxes. Only the earnings are restricted until retirement. That flexibility makes the Roth IRA a surprising useful backup tool, not just a retirement vehicle. And one more thing, you're not required to take money out at any age. Unlike a traditional IRA, there are no required minimum distributions, so your money can keep growing untouched for as long as you want. So now you're probably thinking, okay, I'm in. How do I actually start a Roth IRA? It's way easier than most people think. You don't need a financial advisor, a stack of paperwork, or thousands of dollars sitting in the bank. Here's how to do it step by step. Step 1. Choose a brokerage. Think of this as picking the right gym. They all offer the same basics, but some have better tools, better support, or a better app. Popular options include Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and even mobile-first platforms like M1 Finance or SoFi. Choose the one that feels easiest for you to use and aligns with how hands-on you want to be. Step 2. Open a Roth IRA account. Once you've picked a platform, look for the option to open a Roth IRA. It'll usually be listed under retirement accounts. The sign-up process is just like opening a bank account. Fill in your info, connect your bank, and verify your identity. Step 3. Fund your account. Transfer some money in. It doesn't have to be the full $2,000 or $7,000. Even $100 to start is great. The key is getting your foot in the door and starting the habit. Step 4. Choose your investments. This is the fun part, and the part we'll deeply dive into soon. You'll decide what ETFs or funds to buy inside your Roth IRA. This is where your growth comes from. And that's it. You've started your Roth IRA. You're officially building tax-free wealth. Up next, I'll use one of the most popular ETFs, VOO, to show what a standard Roth IRA portfolio looks like over time, and then we'll compare it to something even better. All right, so let's build a standard Roth IRA portfolio, the kind that most people start with when they want something reliable, simple, and long-term. To do that, I'm going to use one of the most trusted ETFs out there, VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. This fund follows the S&P 500, which means when you invest in it, you're instantly owning a slice of America's 500 largest publicly traded companies. I'm talking about household names like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Johnson & Johnson. They're the giants that power the economy, and through VOO, you're investing in all of them, automatically. The reason VOO is so popular in Roth IRAs comes down to three things. First, you get instant diversification. Instead of picking individual stocks, you get exposure to hundreds of the most successful companies in one move. Second, it's dirt cheap to own. The expense ratio is just 0.03%, which means that almost every dollar you put in stays invested, working for you. And third, the performance. Historically, the S&P 500 has delivered about 9 to 10% annual returns over the long haul, and inside a Roth IRA, that kind of compounding is pure gold. For exact metrics, VOO also pays dividends, currently around 1.5% per year, and those dividends have grown by about 6.5% annually, and it has an average share price appreciation of 9.41%. Based on these metrics, let's look at what happens when you contribute just $2,000 a year into VOO starting from zero. After 1 year, you would have contributed $2,000. After 10 years, this investment would grow to around $32,910. After 20 years, you'd be looking at roughly $120,895. And by year 30, that number would climb all the way to about $349,842. And remember, that's tax-free money. Your total value added over time reaches nearly $288,241, with $22,739 coming from reinvested dividends and $267,103 from capital appreciation, all tax-free. So yeah, even a plain vanilla Roth IRA with just VOO is good. But in the next section, we're going to step it up. I'm going to show you 5 high-growth ETFs that can take this same $2,000 a year and potentially turn that $349,000 into over $1 million. So, we've seen what a steady, reliable ETF like VOO can do for a Roth IRA, and honestly, the results are impressive. But now let's ask the big question. What if you could go further? What if you could build a Roth IRA designed not just for stability, but for maximum growth? That's where this next strategy comes in. I've built a custom Roth IRA portfolio using 5 ETFs, each chosen for its potential to drive serious returns over the long run. Let's start with QQQ. This ETF tracks the NASDAQ 100, meaning it's packed with tech powerhouses like Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and Google. Over the past decade, it's consistently outperformed the S&P 500, and that kind of momentum inside a Roth IRA can snowball fast. Next up is SCHG, the Schwab U.S. Large Cap Growth ETF. This one's all about strong, established companies that are still expanding fast. Think Microsoft, Visa, and Tesla. It gives you exposure to large cap growth without the concentrated tech focus of QQQ. It adds balance to the high growth tilt of this portfolio. Then I've got FTEC, the Fidelity MSCI Information Technology ETF. It's like QQQ's cousin, a broad play on the tech sector but with slightly different exposure. While QQQ leans heavily into mega-cap names, FTEC spreads the net a bit wider, giving you access to software, semiconductors, cloud computing, and more. It's a great complement. Now let's talk about SMH, the VanEck Semiconductor ETF. This fund is laser-focused on one of the most essential and explosive industries of the future, semiconductors. Chips are in everything, from smartphones to electric cars to AI. If you believe that digital demand is only going to grow, SMH gives you a way to ride that wave directly. And finally, I'm adding a curveball, IAUM, the iShares Gold Trust Micro. This one's not about growth, it's about balance. Gold has historically performed well during market downturns, inflation spikes, and uncertainty. Including a small portion in gold brings diversification and acts as a shock absorber when stocks get rocky. Each of these funds brings something different to the table: growth, innovation, diversification, and resilience. All right, let's see what happens when we take that same $2,000 a year contribution, the one we used in the VOO example, and plug it into our supercharged Roth IRA portfolio. First, we need to calculate our portfolio metrics, and it's actually pretty simple. I'll walk you through it step by step. Let's use the 5 ETFs we covered in the supercharged portfolio: SMH, IAUM, SCHG, QQQ, and FTEC. Just add the individual dividend yields together and divide by the number of ETFs. For example, if you're holding SMH, IAUM, SCHG, QQQ, and FTEC with yields of 0.59%, 0%, 0.5%, 0.71%, and 0.63%, you'll add those up to get 2.43%. Then divide by 5 since there are 5 ETFs, and your average dividend yield comes out to about 0.49%. You can then do the same for the average dividend growth rate, which in my case will be 6.86%, and average share price appreciation, which will be 16.12% for this portfolio. So what does this do for your long-term growth? Well, here's the breakdown. Based on these metrics, after 10 years, your account would grow to around $43,488. After 20 years, that number jumps to about $239,045. And by year 30, you'd be looking at a Roth IRA worth a massive $1,112,802, all tax-free. Out of the $1.1 million total value, about $1,049,000 comes purely from price growth. That's the same $2,000 per year we used in the VOO example. The difference? The strategy. VOO alone got you to $348,000. This portfolio more than triples that result, adding an additional $764,000 in potential value. Want more in dividends? Click the video on the screen to find out how to make $6,000 per month with only $20 per week.